But let's get into the next segment. Let's talk about, in my opinion, the biggest need on the Baltimore Ravens roster: cornerback. They only have four. Now, they do have future All-Pro Amon Marshall. They have current All-Pros in Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. Like, they have some players. But the depth there is very needed. And day two is the second and third round. And I think the Ravens are almost guaranteed to draft a corner in this spot. They just need a cornerback that badly. They have 3 picks currently on day two. They have 2/3, and they have 1 second. So like they have the potential to draft him. And there's a lot of day two cornerbacks that are really good. Even if they draft a day one player, like I'll go, less likely in a Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner, but, even if they get a Booth or McDuffie or somebody like that, they may very well still go after a cornerback in the second round. So let's talk about some day two corners. Overall, who is the best day two corner for the Ravens to go after, Joshua? There's a lot of names. I'll throw out some names, just so people feel like we didn't, forget players. But Kaiir Elam, Roger McCreary, Tariq Willen, Marcus Jones were just some names, that, are worth talking about. There's other players, not trying to count out anybody else, but those are the players that, we're going to highlight. Who's the best guy? Day two, who's your target cornerback for the Ravens to draft?
Oh, man. I would say Kaiir, but we didn't had our run-ins with Elam's coming out of the University of Florida, having been injury prone, which honestly, Kaiir Elam is another one that's a little injury prone. I saw Marcus Jones come out of University of Houston, 5'8" guy, but he plays big. Hey, I would love to see a young man like that in our slot. But honestly, I think I'm going to go with Mr. Roger McCreary out of Auburn. He's 5'11", 190 pounds, and he has great athleticism for his size. Now, that sounds like someone else out of the SEC, um, Mr. Derek Stingley. So, honestly, y'all, for the simple fact that he ran a 4.5, broad trunk was a 9.8, vertical was 31.5. I mean, the dude can pretty much do it. He can do it all. He can get around. He can stick with the best wide receivers. He's very silky, very smooth, very fluid in his movement. I mean, when you look at corners like that, we need those type of impact players. I mean, we kept on talking about it because in this upcoming season, we might just see Marlowe be in the slot more. I'm not at the Owens Mills facility. I don't know what's really going on, but honestly, Marlowe is one of our best corners on this team. Well, not one, he is the best corner on our team. TTB family, Ravens flock family, y'all can fight me on that any day. But
Come on, Marshall.
see, there we go. But he's going to be lined up on opposing teams' best wide receivers. We all know that. Sometimes he gives up plays. Sometimes he lights out. He straps up. But I mean, honestly, for the workload that Marlon Humphrey put in last year, he needs some impact guys on those outside that can give him a lot of more help and give him some and give him a breather. Because I don't want to overwork none of my guys, especially Marlowe, neither Marcus Peters. I mean, I'm glad that we got the addition of Marcus Williams, but we still need guys in that depth for corner and also to be immediate impact players. And I think when McCurry's abilities to be aggressive, peep the blind spots and just be there. He's pretty good at that. So I would like him to be in that purple and black this upcoming season.
Yeah, I'm also a big Roger McCreary fan. I think that as a man coverage corner, he's one of the best in this draft class, which is what the Ravens really like to do. But I'm going to, my favorite guy, day two, Marcus Jones. He's my favorite player in this draft class. I think he is one of the best kick return prospects in the history of football. His comparison is Mr. Human Joystick, Dante Hall, as a return specialist. And then also has great ball skills and physicality to be able to play the cornerback position. He lights people up. Like, he is he's a big time heavy hitter, which is surprising considering he is only 5'8", but he is not afraid to throw his body around. Very physical, and he's also been used on offense, as a gadget player. Which I love in the versatility side of things. But, Marcus Jones is my number one, but it's more than just the cornerback spot. If we were looking at it as like, okay, they can only play corner, no returning, no being an offensive weapon by any means. I think I'm going to agree with you, Joshua. I think it would be Roger McCreary. And then Tariq Willen. I think Tariq Willen is a very intriguing prospect, obviously coming out of a much smaller school than, all these other players, at Texas San Antonio. But he is just an unbelievable athlete. I mean, he ran a 4.2 40-yard dash. He only has 2 years of cornerback experience. That just scares me for the fact that the Ravens need players right now to play NFL caliber cornerback. Right. It's going to be very difficult for him to adjust to be a starting caliber cornerback or a, cornerback number. I mean, honestly, if we're drafting a player in the second round, they got to be a cornerback 4, and most likely, unless we get a guy in the first round. So it's like, I don't know if he's ready from day one to be the player the Ravens need when they draft a corner, which is why I think McCreary is more ready. Marcus Jones is more ready, but the potential of Tariq Willen is so high that I am okay with drafting him. I do think it would still be worth it. I just have other players that I would rather get Marcus Jones at 1 than McCreary at 2. But Kaiir Elam, nothing against Kaiir Elam, but I'm just a little bit worried that, maybe he's not going to be able to, be a tackler that the Ravens need him to be. He's not a complete prospect yet. And again, the Ravens need someone from day one to be able to go out and play. And it's just like, I'm just scared of drafting a player that, we had his uncle, but his uncle didn't even work out. So that makes it very difficult for me to be like, oh, well, he's got the connection. Yeah, the connection. Yeah, the guy that, wasn't very good. So I don't know. Nothing against him. I think he's a solid prospect, but the Ravens need guys that can from day one be out there covering players. And I think Marcus Jones and McCreary are the best guys for that job. But you guys let us know, please. But any other guys that you want to talk about?
I was gonna say, I definitely agree with you because even when I look at Tariq Willen's scouting, he's another developmental guy. I mean, yes, we like those guys and everything like that. Yes, this can be a possible year where those developmental guys get that type of play time where, once you get that experience, you become better, because, some people, the way they become better is by actually getting those actual physical reps. The thing about Tariq Willen, he's best worked out in the zone. But I mean, the upside that he has, that he was a converted wide receiver. I mean, and also someone else that was a converted wide receiver that came off with 11 picks this previous season was Trayvon Diggs. Granted, he did give up a lot of yards, but when he did make plays, he made plays. So, I mean, anything is possible. He could be a household name if he was to draft him, but he has to be able, if he gives up a lot of yards like Trayvon Diggs, he's going to have to get 11 picks in Baltimore as well, too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he has the potential to be one of the best cornerbacks in this draft. It's just like, can the Ravens wait on potential at a position where they need players right away?
Exactly.
It's just very tough to judge. But, guys, I want to know what you guys are thinking about the cornerback spot. Who's your target day 2 cornerback? Also, Jalen Petre's another guy. We talked about him in the draft or pass, which is why we haven't talked about him now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check out the other segment. We talk a lot about Jalen Petre in that as a highlighted player. But, overall, those are kind of our thoughts on the day 2 cornerbacks. One of the biggest needs for the Ravens is to get cornerback depth, cornerback starting potential. Let us know what you guys are thinking about that. But